I'm Lupe with Celeb Secrets, talking with the cast of Tyler Perry's Ruthless on BET+. What's up, you guys?
Hey, what's up, Lupe?
What up? You guys, how are you?
Oh, great. Just great.
So season 1 of Ruthless left us in a suspense-driven finale, prompting us to want a second season. And here we are, so throughout the series, we see you, Ruth, Melissa, we see you, getting into this cold and realizing, it's not exactly what I thought it would be. And you start realizing and you start planning or plotting your way out or to escape. When was one time where you stood up for yourself?
I think what's cool about Ruth is that is something that I actually relate to the most, is that she is ruthless in standing up for herself or fighting for what she believes in. In my personal life, I would just say the fight of this craft, the journey, I definitely rely on my faith in God and hard work, but I definitely know those two things are what got me here. And it's just that tunnel vision and unobstructed focus that a person should have if they're trying to pursue anything and be good at it. So I think that's where I can relate to Ruth.
Without giving, a lot of information away or too much info away, what can we expect from each of your characters? Whether if it's yours, Matt, or yours, Yvonne, who you play Tally, what can we expect much more from your characters?
This season, I think for the highest is very revealing. There's a lot of things that come to the surface that sort of explain why he is the way that he is. It's disturbing in a lot of ways. You're gonna see a man that just basically spirals out of control, psychologically, with all the internal conflicts and turmoil that he's going through, and his struggles really come to light this season.
I say that Tally starts to have to stand on her own 2 feet. I think she's definitely leaned a lot on Ruth, and that's kind of the dynamic that they've had. However, I feel like Tally and Ruth, their relationship's really challenged. So Tally has to, Tally has to find her own voice and stand on her own 2 feet, because she's still very determined to get her and her daughter out. So I think you'll see a little bit more independence from Tally, which is nice.
I know guys like him. I've grown up around men like that. So I've had a lot to pull from. And I even said a couple of times, like, if I didn't have the proper upbringing, I might have been that person, or a version of him. So I have access to that. And also my castmates make it so easy to be free in our scenes together that, they let me go wherever we go. And, I got to thank them for that, because they could go a whole nother way if they weren't as giving as they are,
And Blue, I know you played that FBI agent, that undercover FBI agent, and we see the loyalty being tested. We see the compromises and the sacrifices that are continuing to be made with all the dilemmas and conflictions that come to light on the show. What was or what has been the biggest takeaway from playing, that character or such a tough character?
I pull from a lot of different things for the character, for Andrew, to try to give him as much validity as possible. Like I said, he's strong underneath all of it, but in the end of the day, he has to be vulnerable to get to his ultimate goal, regardless of everything, the confusion and everything that we see within him. Is the FBI? Has he turned cold? What side are you on? At the end of the day, he's there to try to save those kids, to try to save as many people as he can. So he looks like a bad guy at times, but he has to do what he has to be a superhero.
Baadja-Lyne, for you, how was that process getting into that mindset of your character as well, and just going through so many tough situations and scenes? Were you guys able to lean into each other and be like, yo, today, this scene was tough?
Yeah, but I have such an amazing counterpart and cast. I mean, they're open for anything, and they will roll with you. Whatever you're doing, they're there for you. Whereas Lenny is the highest right hand, I'm his left hand, trying to be the right hand.
Yeah.
So there's always that conflict between Lenny and I. Him dearly as a talent because he's very talented, but on the set, I'm going to do everything I can to rip you apart to get to where you are, where I want to be, and that's her mindset. That she feels like she needs to be in charge. She has to, tell everybody what to do, and not Lenny. That's why we always bump heads. But he gives me so much. He gives me so much when we're working together. It's just a joy and a privilege to work with him. And because, they're all professional, talented actors, and they look at you and they know where you're going and say, okay, I'll follow you. I'll work with you. You can just tell, you can look in their eyes. And he's amazing. He's amazing. Yes.
I love that. I love that. You guys can tell that you guys are, a happy family. And especially, with this pandemic, I know that there was houses within the studio where you guys stayed at. Was that right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm sure you guys grew even more.
Oh yes, yeah. I had an apartment. I don't know what they had.
Okay.
We actually were filming. We had a couple moments that while we were filming. Chadwick Boseman had passed, so we all were together in that moment and were able to kind of just be there for each other, because there were people that were we were just waiting to shoot, and we all got the news at the same time. I guess remember we all there was a moment of obviously gratitude, but also just wow, what a great human, what a great person.
When was the last time you guys did something that you weren't too comfortable in it, but you knew that it was essentially good for you, either to grow or just to be, the best that you could be?
I moved to South Carolina for grad school, and I was very afraid to leave my family, but I got a scholarship, so you go where the money is. And so that was something I had to do a few years back. That was for the greater good. I had a wonderful time, but it was definitely very far out of my comfort zone.
I'm blessed to not have to work a 9 to 5 or a day job, but that's what my fight was in the past. It's how do I stay out here? It's expensive, but this is what I want. So, I could just relate it to the journey in acting and, trying to hustle to see that door open.
Amen on that. What about you, Matt?
Relating it to the business, growing up, I didn't think that I would be an actor. I didn't aspire to be an actor. So I think still daily, 20 years later into this business, almost daily I'm thrust into a situation where I feel like it inspires and stimulates growth, because most of them are uncomfortable. For a person like me that didn't really grow up wanting the limelight, I didn't want to be the front of the camera. I wasn't the one that was out there. That was my brother. I was kind of that's not for me. A little more on the shy side. So I think I had to overcome a lot of obstacles just to come out here and pursue this business. And it's, still a daily thing where, you got to expose yourself to really grow and make it.
For those that have not watched the show, if you could describe it in 3 words, what would it be?
Ungodly, perverse, yet titillating.
Provocative, different, entertaining.
Addictive, sexy, and ruthless.